Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out today's broadcast. My name is Jonathan. A little bit about me and my channel. If this is your first time checking things out, 39 years old. I'm married. We have 4 children together, and I've been obese my whole life. From the time I was a little kid, I was generally one of the biggest kids in every class in all of the athletics I ever did. I was generally the largest guy. And then as an adult, it's kind of got worse. Once I started being able to pick my own foods, I made even worse choices. Um, the um, big things when I started this challenge, I there was two big goals I had in mind. The first was that I wanted to stick to whatever I was going to do, or I was going to focus on my weight for 3 years. Whether diets cause, whether a diet's worked for a while and then fizzled out, or I needed to change things, I was going to work on this for 3 years because in the past I've had diets that I've done well on, but I just never been able to sustain anything. And a lot of times the diets I was choosing to eat were not sustainable diets either. The other big part of this challenge is that I have a lot of weight to lose. So I've challenged myself to lose 300 pounds. And so far, things are going great. I'm just over a year in, and I've lost 200 of the 300 pounds that I'm looking. So things are going great. If anybody has any non-scale victories they want to share, I'd love to hear them. Any questions, comments, please let me know. A couple people checking in. Carrie saying, hey, Carrie, hope everything's going great with you today. And then Roman G, first time checking it out. Thanks for checking out the stream today, Roman. I saw you had joined the Discord and kind of gave your introduction down there. And if anybody is interested in joining our Discord, there is a link down in the description that would be active for the next week. But yeah, I hope everybody had a great weekend. We had a really good weekend here. The weather was really nice, so it made for a good weekend to be outside, which we did spend a lot of time outside. Uh, the two big things we did outside really this on Saturday, we were out. My son is part of a Boy Scout troop, and in our town, we have this new kind of park they've been building up. They've been putting got like a pickleball court there and a pavilion, and the kids do soccer there. And there's some woods next to it that the Cub Scout troop has like cut in a trail and went, and we cut in more kind of trails, just kind of to add to the park. And then give the kids something to do. We also cleaned up the park. There was this new path that they had put around the soccer uh, fields that we grabbed a rake. There was lots of leaves that had fallen on that, cleared that off just to make things a little bit nicer for the community. So that kept us busy on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we ended up going out to a park. We took our dog to a dog park so she could go out and run because she doesn't get a chance to run much at home right now. And then took our kids. There was a regular playground. Our kids played on that on Sunday. And it was really good to get outside, like I said, this weekend while the weather's still allowing it. But yeah, that kind of kept us busy for the most part during the weekend. I know Friday night I was kind of on my own because Carrie had her mom and her aunt in town, so she was off gallivanting across town with them, and so I ended up having the kids. Friday night we hung out. And I think I watched something with them. I can't remember what it was. I'm sure I was completely focused. Um, but yeah, the food this weekend, I did pretty good with food. We had leftovers from when we had company Thursday night. So it's kind of what we had Friday. And then we also made our mega veggie chili, which was nice to have as leftovers. We might even still have some of it as leftovers. I'm not got through it, um, but kind of had that Friday night. And then Saturday, Trying to think. I had work every morning. We have our oatmeal. That's kind of our standard with each morning eating um the steel cut oats. Actually, I think we've been having steel cut mixed with oat groats, and then also, uh, but that having our oatmeal every morning. Roman's asking, have you ever checked out Dr. McDougall? I know I've checked out a lot of the other doctors on the whole food plant based strain. Have I know who Dr. McDougall is. I believe he's the Starch Solution is his program or the name of his book. If not sure, I think that's. I've not read any of his books. I've watched interviews with him and I've seen a lot of material. That might actually be one of the books I check out next. I was trying to figure out, so I just finished listening to Whole this weekend. I think Friday might have been the last day that I was listening to it, and I was really, yeah, he is Starch. So I really enjoyed Whole. The big thing that I got from the book in the end, he doesn't talk about ideal diet in the book a lot. Like he doesn't lay out a diet plan, I guess. But by the end of the book, he talks about eating a whole food plant based, salt, oil, sugar free. He doesn't say salt. He said what did he say? Something refined carbohydrates, something with the fats, and then salt. But essentially, it was a salt, oil, sugar free diet, which is what we had been eating for the last 11 months. And so, not many, a lot of these other books are definitely plant based. A lot of them are talking, they get rid of oil is a big part of their plans or their dieting. And then, um, sugar is kind of a low hanging fruit. Kind of any diet really kind of pushes that. But the salt, that was something new when I read The Pleasure Trap. It kind of followed what their recommendations were, was new to me. And so not seeing that around much, um, it, I was kind of on the fence about how much salt, oil, sugar we should be adding into our diet or allowing into our diet. And to have them talk about that in this book and kind of push me back in that direction that I need to be working towards the salt, oil, sugar free diet. And almost all of our diet is that way. The only exception is if we decide to eat out, then we do our best can or end up dealing with it. But I've the biggest takeaway I've had from these times that we have had salt, oil, and sugar is that it hasn't caused me any discomfort when we've had them. Uh, when I did those feast meals, I was eating a lot of foods and they were different foods that I was used to eating. And I absolutely expected to feel gross or sick from it. And I never end up doing. Roman said, I have that book. It's really good. I'm guessing you're talking about Whole. Um, and then it says oil is hard because they put it in everything. The good manufacturers. Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, the reading the nutrition labels and the different ways they introduce all of this stuff. It's amazing. I wish it did. Not sure what you mean by that, but I'm sure Carrie says, I wish it did. Um, yeah, the refined items, these processed items, it's really tough to buy anything that doesn't have some of that in it. And, they find different reasons to put it in there, whether it's for length but a lot of it's flavor. A lot of it is, I wish salt, oil, and sugar caused. Oh, yeah. Okay. I see that when we do have the salt, oil, and sugar, it doesn't cause any intestinal the stress or digestive issues, and wish it did. Like, because I'm sure that if we just picked up and had some dairy, it would do some things. I just, I mean, and our body would get used to it and adapt if we added that back to our diet. But that's there would be an initial like first time doing it kind of effect, but that it doesn't seem to do that with salt or sugar. But um, I was, oh, you're talking about the good manufacturing, and it just drives me nuts how much we let the stuff go. We let them get away with the adding the things, these unnecessary things to kind of it improves flavor, but at the same time, you know, they know that it creates addicts out of us and it causes us to overeat the item because it's better for their bottom line if we overeat the item because then sell us more because we um but um we were talking about food, so we had lots of leftover. It felt like Carrie did do some new stuff though. I don't know if she put it on her Pinterest, but she made this butternut squash sauce. Um, we had it with noodles, and it kind of has the appearance of a mac and cheese, kind of a dull yellow, but really doesn't have the flavor of mac and cheese. So to say it was to call it mac and cheese, like we called it mac and cheese and gave it to the kids and they didn't like it at all. But I think part of the problem is they had preconceived notion in their head about what the mac and cheese tastes like. Roman says, what I like about McDougal is he says to put a little salt or sugar on your food to make it palatable, but but he's no oil too. Yeah. And I've seen the I feel like the consensus among many of the doctors is that whatever you have to do to get more plants in you, then do it. I think that is their opinion. And um that's been uh you know, if it's a difference between not eating any broccoli and then eating a cup of broccoli just by being able to put salt on it, then they'd rather you eat the cup of broccoli with a little bit of salt than choose not to eat the broccoli at all and go completely the opposite direction. Uh, let's see. We had, yeah, the butternut squash was, I enjoyed the flavor of it, but like I said, I wouldn't call it a mac and cheese. And I really liked it with potato. It mixed really well. Carrie's loving this new blender she has. So uh, she's able to turn these make sauces and creams out of cashews and things like that, which sucks for me because I don't get to eat the cashews as like when I go and grab a handful of cashews, I get the side eye from Carrie now because she has some recipe that she's gonna cashews for. Um and but I really liked it with the potatoes, mixed with potatoes. I liked it a lot. It made it a nice texture. Um that. And then I think the only other thing we had the chickpea mega veggie chili, butternut squash with the sauce, and then laughing. We also just had red pasta sauce. Carrie made some regular red pasta sauce. We had with noodles. I think we had that at some point over the weekend. And then we ended up on Sunday while we were out. We had been out kind of most of the afternoon and looked at the clock and knew that by the time and daylight savings just wrecks everything like a so daylight savings was Saturday night. Everything fell back an hour. So now sunset happens at like 4:49 Central Time. I guess it's anytime. 4:49 is when sunset's happening. And uh we ended up deciding where we were at. There's a Papa Murphy's near us that they do take and bake vegan pizzas, and we ended up ordering the Papa Murphy's take and bake vegan pizzas. That way we knew, because we want our kids to try it, or we wanted to get something for everybody that was quick, and our kids did a good job trying it. The last time we got the Papa Murphy, we got just a cheese pizza for them, and it wasn't very good. Um, it was just an if you ever eat like vegan cheeses, they are um they can be like sticky, like they can stick to the roof of your mouth, or they can kind of create like a film. I believe that kind of was that way with the Papa Murphy. So it was much better with ingredients on it, especially like the vegetables, that kind of create lots more moisture in it. And Carrie actually took the one, I don't know what the names of them were, but they had two different kind of vegetable pizzas, and she put this vegan feta that we have on it, and it made it taste amazing. We probably could have got the pizza and just put that vegan feta on it. Uh, Sort of like they make those. What do they call them with the big chunks of mozzarella? Like I don't know, Mediterranean style, like that. It was the Trader Joe's vegan feta is what we added to that pizza. And then Roman's saying that we should check out Chuck with brand new vegan. Yeah, the time change is killing you too. Yeah, it's been yeah, you have to check the two Papa Murphy's near us started carrying the vegan cheese. They don't have any vegan meats. So we ended up, like I said, we ordered like, again, they have two different like vegetarian option pizzas. One of them uses an Alfredo sauce that we had that swapped with their marinara, and just got them with lots of vegetables on them, and I liked them. And the one that is one's called Garden, and I don't know if this one's the Garden or not, but it had zucchini on it, and then it also has artichoke hearts, which we've had artichoke hearts before, and I didn't like them. I wouldn't say that they were my favorite thing that was on this pizza either, but they were edible, add to the flavor. But yeah, check out the Papa Murphy's around you to see if if they have those options, because it looked like it might have been like a limited time thing. Carrie said she almost like she wasn't going to be able to order them after the end of the month. Um, and so kind of, when she said that, I kind of was like, well, I'm happy we ordered it again, because these are the types of things that I want those statistic numbers to go up that say, hey, people are eating this way. We should provide this for them regularly. Um, Carrie said that the one had spinach, artichoke hearts, zucchini, and mushrooms, and that was the one that we put the feta on. It was really good. It was probably a little wet. Like we had to use a fork to eat the center. I mean, didn't have to here. Um, and yeah, it was a nice snack to have, or a nice thing to eat. It's, I think, the second time we've had that. I don't think it's second time in 2 weeks, but it could be the second time we had the Papa pizza. Makes it really easy though that we're able to just pop it in the oven and cook them for the go. Um, Again, don't really get any negative feeling from it, like as far as feeling bogged down or feeling bad. Like it, I don't really, I don't know that I got sometimes I've talked about getting a little bit of a jolt of energy, or feeling a little more energetic after eating some of these high calorie foods. I don't know that I got that, but I wouldn't say I probably ate more than I should have, but I didn't eat it as fast. Like, I didn't just sit down and have a big sitting of eating half a pizza. I ate it over the course of a few hours just because of the timing of when we got it, and just worked out that way. But um but yeah, I've been liking everything so far that we've tried of those things. I was kind of leery of that pizza with the spinach and artichoke hearts because we did not order that the last time. Got their other pizza that had the black olives and mushroom, green peppers, kind of like a standard veg. Pizza. Um, yeah, it was worth it. It was good. Let's see, and then um, kind of back at the diet today. Just had oatmeal this morning, and gonna go home and have something delicious. I'm sure that Carrie is whipping up. Uh, if not, I feel like we have some leftovers still of maybe the mega veggie chili. Um, so let's see if I have much else. It was a fun weekend. That book I finished whole. I talked about that a little bit, but um I'm definitely glad I picked it up. I wasn't sure if I was gonna read that one or what I was gonna read, and it was recommended to me by somebody else, and I am glad that I read it. His like there's all this, like, I don't even know. It's such a weird world that we live in because the way he talks and the information that he puts out there is just so, like, matter of fact. Like, I did the research. This is exactly what the research said. This is what we should be taking from this research. This is what they recommend. Like, the research is over here saying something, and what they recommend is what they think people will do. The fat thing was just crazy that they talk. He talks about it in the book that they were trying to decide, and he was like on this panel in 1982. It was this nutrition panel, but they were trying to decide what the recommended amount of fat in a diet should be, and they were arguing with people about whether or not to make it 30% down from 35, and they were having a hard time getting them to bring it down that 5%. But the statistics they had showed that it should have been like half of even what they were recommending. Like, should have been down in like the 15 or the 10% range. Uh, but because of all these external influences, they put it out there that a normal amount of fat in a diet is 30%. So then anything under 30% can be called low fat, or it can be considered a low fat diet because it's lower than the recommended amount of fat. It ends up being twice as high as it should be recommended according to him. And just it was, and there might be books out there talking about other diets that are just as matter of fact, but I don't feel like I've read them. I've read other books. It's all about the money. A lot of it is about the money. And um these other diet books that I've read, it feels like so much of what they said, there was it was about theory behind it. There was a book, something, the name Diamond pops in my head, that I read, but um it talked about, order of eating, and then it's hard for me to remember the books I've read in like years ago about diet, but I have read a few. Um and it didn't seem like authors were as matter of fact as the Dr. Greger was with how not to diet and how not to diet. He's very, like, this is what the numbers say. That's all he gives you is numbers. None of it is anecdotal, or very little of it is anecdotal. Felt the same way with this Campbell book. Whole, very, it just felt like kind of the same way felt like when I read The Pleasure Trap and kind of was looking at the True North Clinic and just being like, what's in it for these guys to be recommending? Like, like you said, it's about the money. Like these guys, almost all of them donate all this money. Like that Gregor, he doesn't. I mean, I'm sure he has money. I'm sure he's not hurting for money, but he's not growing wealth by selling a diet program or plan or supplements or um any, like it seems like they're more it seems more genuine in the way that they do things. Like it's like the yeah, like it's the money. Like it's so crazy. Like, and how I was thinking about like the marketing stuff and how um manufacturers, yeah, it's all about the money for the food man. Yeah, that's what, yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's not about the doctors. Like, yeah, it doesn't seem to be about the money to them. Like it's because to me it's a lot of it's them just presenting what these studies showed, and if they had studies that showed otherwise, then they would be presenting that. Like, and I know people can get on and say that they cherry pick information, but it just doesn't seem. This is what I was thinking about. I would be willing to bet that there have been more studies done on the psychological effect on product placements. Like there's been more studies done and performed on humans to trick us into buying things, into pushing us or swaying us. The fact that everything is 1.99 instead of $2. We know that there was a psychologist that did a study that found that if you price things a penny under, that people tend to buy it more. There's all these studies where they've learned how to trick us. Let's put things at eye level for the kids and we'll make them these colors and we'll put the font size this large and we'll make there's all of these studies that have been done on people's psychology. There's the psychology of people. I bet it's just dwarfs the number of actual, like, holistic nutritional studies where they take people's whole diets and they look at them and they say this is what happened. We're spending way, I mean, I'm sure it's just an incredible amount more money trying to trick people to buy your product psychologically than they are in trying to create healthful diets or health plans. The doctors are telling you about the studies, but folks don't want to see or taste the truth. Yeah, I think that there is uh uh it's a weird, like, there may be a, and again, there, I don't think there's enough studies out there to be able to say, like, there's nobody can say this is what works because there was a study, but that, like, they take multiple studies, they take 20 studies and then they kind of collate, or they put all of that data together and then they try to find trends from that to try to create like bigger sample pools. But I don't think um that, I mean, just for overall health, I don't think we know enough. And I assumed that the people telling us the stuff at the top were less biased than what I'm finding out they are. They definitely have more, you know, the he talks about it in the book. He talks about, and this book's a bit dated, so I'm sure that some of the examples are tough, but these people that were on the the decision making bodies in the government retire from that, and then they happen to get hired on by these huge corporations that they made millions of dollars for because of the policies that they chose. And um so little of it was about overall nutrition. um so anyways, I really like the book Whole. I recommend it. I might check out Dr. McDougall's The Starch Solution. That's kind of on the short list of books to read. I might see if he has any other books too. Um, but appreciate I appreciate everybody checking out my broadcast. Uh, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you get subscribed to the channel. Click on the bell icon so you turn on notifications. Get alerted when I go live, which is generally 4 p.m. on weekdays. I should be live again tomorrow. I think I'll be on live. Will Tune 88. I hope you're well. I hope you're well as well. I hope you had a great weekend. Um, the uh the Discord, I mentioned that already. There's a link to the Discord down before. Child of C says you can honestly just watch McDougall lectures. The book isn't necessary. That's honestly one of the reasons why I haven't read the book, is because I've listened to a lot of his lectures. And um I'm not sure if he adds any more to the science of what I've learned. Like, this listening to Whole definitely added a new aspect or new well, a less of an appreciation, a new disdain for the way our government does things. Um, but I'm gonna look into it. I was also looking at Barnard as well. Again, I don't know if he has a book that's really gonna add. Um, no, I love it, Roman. Great. Don't ever hesitate. It allows me something to talk about. This would have been a 10-minute stream if you were not. So I appreciate it. The uh yeah, talked about the Discord, I think. We got a Pinterest board. I'm gonna get out of here though. I'll be back on tomorrow. I appreciate all you guys. If you haven't started a diet yet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. Nothing coming up that's more important than your health. Get started right now. Thanks, guys. I will see you tomorrow.